The Chaunce Hayden Show is sponsored by Stitcher Radio. Listen on the go via the Stitcher mobile app. For more information, go to Stitcher.com/GFQ. Location provided by Sapphire New York. Visit them at nysapphire.com.
You think you have me all down, you think you have me, I will always be one step ahead.
Don't hurt me, for real. Ah! Ah! Look at her teeth! No, she has fangs! I'm not even kidding! Ah! 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 Oh God! Oh God! Oh my God! Are you insane? Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chaunce Hayden Show. It has been so long, it seems like forever. I think the total amount of time has been 4 weeks since the last time we've been on the air. But we're back at the Sapphire Gentlemen's Club in New York City, home of the world's greatest gentlemen's club in the Boom and Carton VIP room. And hopefully we haven't lost a beat. The show was on a roll when we took our Christmas holiday hiatus. And we're back, and we're back with a bang. Because tonight's show, it's huge. If you're a fan of professional wrestling, and most of us are, because they have about 100 billion people around the world that watch professional wrestling, we have Bully Ray on the show from TNA Wrestling. And of course, we all know Bully Ray because he's getting married tomorrow to Hulk Hogan's daughter, Brooke Hogan, and this is where, or one of the places they're having the bachelor party. They're leaving here to go to another club, but between you and I, this is the real party tonight. They're going to be right here, and I believe we're going to have them in the studio during this celebration. We also have, if you're a fan of the Howard Stern Show, you might remember Stuttering John. His wife, Susanna, is doing a show, a performance here in Manhattan. So we were hoping to get her on the show. I don't know if she's coming on or not, but we have her co-star for this play. It's called Totally Tubular Time Machine at, oh my God, what is the name of the club again? Culture Club here in New York City. So they're going to be here talking about this new show, and it should be crazy. But what's great about having a wrestler on the show is because I know so little about the ins and the outs of professional wrestling, but Andrew, my boss, producer, and tonight sidekick, knows everything about professional wrestling, to the point where, would you say, Andrew, you're a pro wrestling geek?
I'm a pro wrestling expert.
Expert is a better way of saying it.
Yeah.
There's nothing you don't know.
I'm sure there's some stuff. But like I know all the way up to like the 1950s of pro wrestling.
So you're hoping I don't screw this up.
I really am.
For a guy like you, watching a guy like me who's not the biggest of fans, this is like you have a knot in your stomach that I'm going to say something wrong, or
yeah, you're going to say like the stupid thing, like is it fake? You're gonna
is it scripted? Is wrestling scripted?
Yeah, you're going to say like stupid things like that.
No, I'm not going to see.
And by the way, he's a big name in pro wrestling. I mean, you're not talking about.
We had a big fight about this because everyone that's coming to the party tonight for Bully Ray, they're calling him Mongo. You got mad at me and said, Chauncey, his name's not Mongo. There's no Mongo. But yet everyone he knows is calling him Mongo.
Okay, I'm actually totally surprised by that. I had no idea.
See, because I might have inside information that you don't have.
No, because you messaged me and you said, hey, by the way, you know the pro wrestler Mongo?
Right.
And there's one Mongo McMichaels.
Right.
And he was a former football player. He wrestled in WCW, and he was an awful, awful wrestler.
Right.
And I'm thinking, why would he come in?
You thought I booked that guy.
I honestly thought you'd book that guy, yeah.
Yeah, no. We'll ask him. When he comes here, we'll ask him. His friends call him Mongo.
I'm really curious.
So you
learned
something. You already learned something. From a guy who knows nothing about pro wrestling, you've already learned something.
I have.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, I'm excited to be back too, because I miss doing this show. Every year we take about 4 weeks off around the holidays, and I get very antsy. I get withdrawal symptoms from not doing this. I don't know if you feel the same way, but you kind of still are on the air at home, right? So you don't feel.
No, I took off for a month. I took off 3 weeks. I was off the air, and it was the most relaxing 3 weeks of my life. I got a lot of paperwork done that I have to do for the end of the year, but I came back on the air last week. I was so rusty. I have no idea what I did.
You start stumbling, right? Like you don't feel it.
Yeah, we always talk about this. You always say, like, it kind of sucks that it's a once-a-week show.
Because it's hard to do once a week because you don't get into a flow. You feel like you're learning to play the guitar all over again every single week. Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But when you suck anyway, it doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't matter.
Like if you suck all the time, you can only suck so much, basically.
Yeah.
All right, good. Hey, you know what I want to ask you before we go to break? So I think it's on the Discovery Channel. They have these two guys that do a podcast that are
so angry at that.
You know what? Oh my God, I'm so happy
mad.
we're talking about this. I see this commercial every 5 minutes
and
on
how
TV.
mad do you get?
And all I think of is Andrew must be on fire. This is what you want. This is what your dream is.
By the way, they've done it for far longer than me.
Do you know them? Do you know who they are?
I know who they are. Yeah. And they're really good, and they do some interesting stuff. So they'll talk about like how
tacos.
No, not the commercial's really bad, and it's like NPR style. But if you listen to the show, they talk about like stuff that everybody should know.
Right.
And they'll talk about
basic things,
like interesting stuff though. Really interesting stuff, like how like bizarre facts that like and I'm a fact
and do a whole
junkie,
show around it.
And they do, it's great. They do a great show.
Like talking about how to paint your house, and they'll do an entire show that's fascinating on the ins and outs of painting a house.
Sure, and like the chemicals used, and like at one point they used lead paint, and people died, and like 3,000 people died from using this kind of paint.
And they signed a deal with a major network. But
What is it with Discovery?
Discovery.
Well, Discovery bought up. There was a internet TV network called Revision 3. They're still around. They just bought them for like $40 million.
Okay.
And I think they were part of them somehow. It was like a package deal.
Okay, so maybe this is the start of something now. Maybe this is the beginning of people that are great at doing web TV getting on network TV.
Sure, I wouldn't mind it.
Maybe if they succeed.
By the way, how's our show going?
On NBC?
On NBC.
Any day. They're building the studio.
I thought,
they're literally, as we speak, building the studio.
I think what they did, and this is my theory, we went to this meeting.
Right.
They knocked us out with like carbon monoxide poisoning. We're in a coma, and they just got like body doubles to do the show. I think this is all a dream.
Really?
Like there's a show going on NBC. We just have no idea because we're in our little like...
Are we in the show? Is it us on the show?
It's like clones of us.
See, I was thinking from another perspective that this whole thing with these two podcast guys...
was it.
That was the meeting. Someone took that meeting and took it to another place.
It could be.
And we kind of got ripped off.
They're like, listen, we got to get somebody that knows about this. Should we get Chaunce Hayden? No. We already told them, like, no, forget about Chaunce Hayden. We're going to get guys that will actually do what we want them to do.
What are they talking about?
Facts. I don't know.
Oh, just facts?
Yeah. They just discuss, like, random facts.
Oh, you're talking about the meeting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we don't know much about anything, so maybe that's why we didn't get the gig.
No.
We have no knowledge.
We do a show from the back of a strip club.
We have no knowledge. Although, you know what? Honestly, I look at that commercial, and I think a show in the back of a strip club would get more viewers than their show's going to get.
They're going to do awful on TV.
It's going to be boring.
You know what they're going to do?
I can already tell it's going to be boring.
I can tell you their numbers right now. They're probably going to get...
Less than 100,000.
Less than 100,000, absolutely. They'll probably get about 40 to 60,000 people per week.
Man. It's a combination of Mythbusters, right?
Yeah.
And...
it's a great concept. I like the show. I just don't know if I would watch it on network television. That's the problem that people don't understand. Like, my shows will not transition to internet, from the internet to TV.
It's got to be visual. They're not visual.
No, they're not good-looking people.
They're not good-looking.
No.
But you know what? I don't think you have to be good-looking, but you got to be able to point the camera at something that's interesting.
By the way, I was nominated against them for the award, the Stitcher Award.
See, here comes the jealousy. Here it comes.
No.
You sound like them.
I didn't.
You know
lose
your
to them.
voice sounds like them.
No, it doesn't.
It does. You have the same NPR voice that they have.
I don't have an NPR voice.
You are the voice of NPR. If I could sum up a sound that represents NPR, it would be your voice.
Promotional consideration paid for by you.
You have that it's that deep highs and lows that come and go, and it makes you feel relaxed.
That's not...
You have a relaxing
You're the
voice.
first person to ever say this to me.
Really?
People actually get irritated because I'm always worked up.
It's a little metrosexual sounding, but that's in a good way.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Like a gay guy would jerk off to your voice.
Oh, talk about
But a
gay
woman,
guys.
I think, would also be
You
attracted
you
to
think
it.
I'm gay, and I was thinking about this. I went to the pizzeria down the block.
Yeah.
And you always make fun of me because I have white sneakers on.
Yes.
And they're too white, and only gay people wear really white sneakers, according to you.
That's correct.
I saw the two guys, and I was thinking, what would Chauncey think of them? Because they were the gayest two men I've ever seen in my life.
And they had white sneakers on.
No, they didn't. They had Uggs, like female shoes.
Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with Uggs. Everybody knows that.
All right.
Every single person in the world knows that Uggs
I actually complimented one of the guys.
See, this could be a good discussion for that other show. Uggs. You could do an hour show on Uggs.
We can, yeah.
Because I know everything about Uggs.
Do you?
Uggs were invented in Australia for male surfers. Women took them over here in New York.
How do you know about Uggs?
It was a New York craze.
How do you know about this?
Because I wear Uggs every single day, and I
No,
study
you don't.
Uggs. I wear Uggs. I wear gray Uggs from December 23rd until March 2nd.
You wear women's shoes.
They're men's shoes. Women
No,
wear
that's not true.
Women wear men's shoes.
That is not true.
What do you know about Uggs? Because
I know a lot about Uggs. I know my wife wears them.
Do you know who
I know my
invented
wife's
Uggs?
cousin wears
Do
it.
you know who invented Uggs?
I'm sure it was a woman.
No, it was a male.
Okay.
It was a male surfer in Australia
'Cause he
who
needed
wanted to
boots.
wear something to keep his feet warm when he came off the beach, and he created Uggs. Uggs were stolen by women about 10 years ago, but it's a male surfer shoe
Brand, okay.
brand.
I don't
Absolutely.
believe any of this.
Absolutely. I wear Uggs proud every day. I was at a gas station the other day pumping my own gas. This little Mexican kid goes, "Hey man, love your Uggs." He knew the style was developed for men.
No, he had no clue. He was
Yes.
probably making fun of you.
No. He absolutely knew that Uggs are for men. And anyone who questions it knows nothing about footwear or Australia.
I know a lot about
or Uggs.
footwear.
We'll be back right after this break. Hey everybody, we're back. You're watching the Chaunce Hayden Show, broadcast live from the Sapphire Gentlemen's Club in New York City, the world's greatest gentlemen's club. How great is this? Because I feel like I'm talking to Cher. You look just like Cher.
Breed. Come on, Chauncey. Do I?
You do.
I've never heard that before in my life.
Tell everybody who you are. Introduce yourself.
I'm Denise Fennell, and I am an actress, producer, and a super fun girl. And happy to be here, Chauncey.
One of the stars and co-creators of Totally Tubular Time Machine, which is going to be something big in New York City starting this Saturday.
Yes.
We're at the
Culture Club, New York City.
Culture Club in New York City. And what makes this so great, if you are a fan of Tony and Tina's wedding,
yep.
and they also had, remember during that time there was, what was that mob interactive play?
Of Revenge of the Mob.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was really big, like a decade ago or so, even a little longer, where they started these interactive plays where the audience was part of the play.
Absolutely.
So, but we haven't seen it in a while.
No, it's kind of like, well, there's a couple of shows in New York City, but not like this. Not like this at all. This is totally environmental.
This is totally tubular.
Wicked totally tubular.
And it's going to, if you're, all the great pop stars, Lady Gaga, Michael Jackson. I don't know how you got him to be in this.
We went back in time, Chauncey. We took them through a time machine. This show travels from one room to another.
And that's why they call it the time machine.
That's
you
right.
literally go back in time. You get all these stars, and there's so many more. Madonna, Britney Spears, Justin Bieber, Vanilla Ice.
Ice baby, and not for nothing. If you notice the bling, that's Vanilla Ice's bling. And
You know what I think I look like more? I look like a negative of DMV. DMC. I said DMV because I'm always at DMV. The DMC. Don't I look like a negative of DMC? What was that Aerosmith video they did? Walk this way. Like I feel like
well, with the leather jacket now and the hoodie.
But
and
I'm
the cap,
so
it's
damn
all
white. It's almost kind of funny.
So's Vanilla Ice.
How much would you give me to walk around the streets like this, to go around Manhattan like this? Nothing? You know what? I think I'd be discovered. I think this is
your calling.
Am
I allowed to drink? Am I? Okay.
Yeah, of course. Don't worry. It's roofied. In about 5 minutes, we'll all be on top of you. We'll be dry humping you before you know it.
But make sure you're wearing this Michael Jackson clothes.
Oh, yeah.
If you're gonna
no,
touch
because
me.
you're the wrong sex, first of all, and you're the wrong age.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I'm looking at you, and I'm seeing the stars that you have in this thing. We're going to ask you questions about it.
Okay.
But I'm assuming Cher is in this at one point.
I'm going to tell you something, Chauncey. She is not in it yet.
That's not impossible.
And that's the beauty of this production, is that at any moment, like if you wanted to on Saturday night,
Don't
you
ever
could
touch
come.
me again like that, but go ahead. Did nobody prep her before the show and tell her not to touch the host? Like the way you just felt
I'm
like
Italian.
it was
for
so
her
comfortable.
safety, not
I'm
yours.
Italian. Oh, you're not. Should I not touch
I
you?
can't believe you just reached over.
No, you
and
don't want
touched
to get.
me.
You don't want to get what he has.
You did it. Are you that comfortable that you feel like you can just touch me on air?
It's an interactive experience.
I can't get over the fact now. Now my whole body's tingling like you touched me. I'm just kidding.
I'm having a blast already. Thank you for having
But
me.
why? Go ahead. I interrupted you. Why is not Cher?
Well, you know,
On the show.
She's not there yet. She's not there yet. We're
Yeah.
we're going 1989
Okay.
to 2013. However, by popular demand, there are some people that are requesting Cher to actually be a part of this performance. So I'm considering.
Because you not only do you look like her, you kind of sound like her.
Isn't it
Like your voice, your speaking voice sounds like Cher.
Isn't it wild?
Yes.
I've never had any work done. When I first got to New York City, I went to the Cher audition. They were doing that movie with her and Sonny. It was like a made-for-TV movie, and I
Yes.
made it to the top 10 to audition, and I almost
Really?
got cast as Cher, and I was like, oh.
How could you not have gotten the part?
They got some
crazy.
girl from Los Angeles who was blonde. They put a fake nose on her and like
No.
it gave her like all these prosthetics. So
Do
that
people
she could
tell
look
you
like
in
Cher.
airports and stuff that you look like
Yes.
Cher? You hear it all the time.
Yes, it's amazing to me.
ama-
But what a great woman to look like.
Yeah, it's terrific. How great would it be to meet her? You never met her.
No, is she here tonight? Is she a guest on your show?
She actually works here as
Does
a
she?
dancer. I'm not supposed to say it. It's been a club secret for a number of years, but yeah, she's here.
We're gonna call Cher to the stage.
You'll see her after the show.
You know what's
We'll get
funny?
you a
She
lap
also
dance.
lives in Jackson Heights in Queens, and she's Puerto Rican. So.
Yeah, it's amazing. You never know it. And when she takes off her fake nose, like the whole thing, the whole Cher thing is all bullshit. Like when you meet her, you'll never know it's Cher. So wait, so then who do you portray?
Well, here's the thing. There was a part in the show called "The Queen of the Decades,"
Yes.
and that was the part that I wrote, and we originally wrote it for myself. However, we have found the most fabulous person in New York City to play the show. His name is PJ Mahaffey. We have turned the show into sort of this drag queen that hosts the show. So I've stepped out.
So you're not
I've
even
stepped out of
you're
my
not even
own
performing
show.
in the show.
I was about a
But
week
you
ago.
can perform. You can if you wanted to.
If I want to, and
Dude,
at any point.
Can you could you sing right now if you wanted to? Or are you one of those that says I can't do it? No.
No, absolutely. What do you want me to sing? I can't sing to save my life.
Can you?
You want me to sing Half Breed?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Half Breed,
That well.
help me, Chaunce.
It's not bad.
What else?
I mean, you only said a word. That's not really singing, but but this was amazing.
That's why I can't be in the show, because it's a musical and I can't sing.
Okay. But you wrote the show.
I wrote a musical.
And you wrote it with someone who a lot of people will know who she is, Stuttering John's wife.
That's right.
Susanna.
Yes, Susanna Melendez. She's
Yes.
amazing. She's my bestie. That's
Afraid to show up at the Chaunce Hayden Show.
Listen,
Fear.
you know, for good reason.
Fear.
For good reason.
Tell her. You can tell her that we're very upset with her.
We should call her.
You should call her.
You know, she's rehearsing. That's what the thing is. She's so serious. She's
Yes.
like, she's so committed to this project that she wouldn't even leave.
So she's in the show.
She's the director and one of the co-creators of the show.
So she's there.
She's rehearsing.
making sure everything. And
She's-
okay.
yeah, she's really working
So
hard.
wait, this is the one problem I have with shows like this, and you can tell me why it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
I always feel uptight when I go to see a show and I have to be in the show. I'm so stressed out that any moment I'm gonna have to be dragged under a spotlight and perform.
I feel the same way.
Does that hurt the show? Do people say I don't want to be in that situation? Does that hurt the show?
It's interesting because, you know, interactive theater, like it's a certain type of theater, but
Right.
because myself and Susanna, one of the co-creators,
Right.
and Robert Watman, who's in the nightclub business, we really wanted to create an environment where we don't make people feel uncomfortable. Like, we're not going to make you do anything that we wouldn't want to do.
Right.
I mean, I've been in interactive theater my whole life. When I go to it, I feel very uncomfortable, but it's not like that at all. This show is very much set in a nightclub atmosphere, so
You feel like you're in a nightclub. Like you can relax and chill and drink. And
Totally. You don't have to be involved.
You don't bust balls. If someone looks like they don't want to be involved, you like pick them out like and where they have no choice. Like, the less they will look like they want to be in it, the more they're going to be in it.
Exactly.
Because I will not go. If I thought I was going to be...
Oh, because you're so shy?
Because I'm so shy.
Yeah. Because you're sitting there with a big money sign on.
Because I don't personally like to stand out in a crowd.
Yeah.
It would bother me to be in that situation.
Okay, should we make an announcement to the world that you don't want anybody to pay attention to
I don't want anybody
You're sitting here with your own TV show and with hundreds of thousands of viewers across the world.
I do not want people to notice me.
Yeah.
I need your promise. If I go Saturday night to the premiere, I will not be noticed. I will not be touched. Because you're a radio show and you can't not touch me. Yeah. Imagine when I'm in the club environment.
What's with the touching? Andrew, is this always an issue? I mean,
it's the leprosy. I just feel bad that people are going to catch it.
No, he's all infested with stuff.
I'm infested with so many things. How many shows have we done about the bugs that infest my body?
Oh God!
Oh my God!
Yeah, the hot tub incident.
No, the hot tub virus last year, and then there was the scabies.
Did you get sick?
Of course, there was the scabies that followed.
No, your foot bleeding at the bar that I took you to.
Then there was the foot infection.
We went to a bar in Queens.
Right.
I took him out to lunch. And decided
at a bar in Queens.
Yeah.
That's how
it's a classy place.
I was lucky to get that. Believe me.
You were lucky to get anything.
I was lucky to get anything.
You were lucky to leave that place alive.
I left with a foot infection. I sat there scratching my foot in his dirty bar stool for like 3 hours.
You took a shoe off. Who takes their shoe off in a bar? And he started scratching it, and he was bleeding all over the place. There was blood all over the floor.
And by the next day, it looked like, what is that when you have like the signs of the cross in your arm?
That is called the stigmata.
I had a stigmata. I left with a stigmata. I had the holes in my feet and the holes in my hands by the time I left.
Did you have the crown of thorns and the spear in the side?
The whole thing going on by the time I left. It was a spiritual experience. But I had to be on antibiotics for the next 6 months. That's how bad the infections were.
Yeah.
Oh, the infections were insane. So you might want to wash those hands real good when you leave the studio.
I am absolutely not even touching you anymore. Let me put on my Michael Jackson.
Yeah, you might want to put on your Michael Jackson. All right, so please, there's a website for this show.
Yes, it's totallytubulartimemachine.com.
Okay.
Could there be any more letters in the
No,
title?
it's the hardest thing to say in the world. Say it 3 times fast.
Totallytubulartimemachine.com. 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 And that's after a vodka.
That was pretty good.
2.
And the website?
Is totallytubulartimemachine.com.
I'm thinking if any way possible I can get you to keep saying that. It starts this Saturday in New York City at the Culture Club, which is where?
On 20 West 39th Street between 5th and 6th.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Chaunce? Do you want to hear their website? Cultureclub.com. Cultureclub.com. Cultureclub.com.
And how long is this going to last? Like for 10 years? A couple weeks?
Forever.
It's going to be one of those things where if it's successful, it's going to go on forever. And
I'm telling you, I have been involved in a lot of interactive theater. I don't know. I did some research on you. I've watched some videos, and I do a lot of stuff around the country.
The dildo was thrown out, by the way.
Yeah, what was that about?
Yeah, we threw it out.
Did you try it? Did you try it?
It's still sitting in the back.
Where is it? I want to see this thing. Bring it out.
Well, we'll show it to you. It's so big. We're talking about the Real Touch device.
Oh my God.
It's so big and massive and so scary. I'm not even going to bring it out. We'll show you after the show. We have it in a closet in the back. The one show you looked at to see what this show was about was the show where we have a giant mechanical vagina.
Yes.
That's the show you had to watch.
Yes.
Normally,
and that's why I'm here.
And that's why you came.
Yes.
Normally, I censor him, but I was fascinated by this thing because there's a conveyor belt on it.
It's a rubber conveyor, and it takes a gallon of oil. You actually have to lube it up with regular oil. It's so remarkable.
Isn't it insane that as a woman I'm sitting here and
I might let you take it home. Maybe by the night we'll let you take it home and try it out, and then you can come on the show and say what you thought.
I would be.
So all right. So the show may last for hopefully a very long time.
I absolutely.
All
it's so good, Chauncey. It's so
great
good.
Music.
Great
interactive,
music,
great club,
talented cast. It's real. It's beyond my wildest dreams. They're so talented. This cast.
Well, I'll be the judge of that on Saturday. We'll on the next show.
You know what? There is a judge in the show.
Yes.
I won't embarrass you. I promise.
Would you like me to play that part?
I would like to bring you up as a judge if you would do that.
I will.
If you would do me the honor.
I will do that. I will do that this Saturday. my manager will work out the details on the fee and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, sure. Do you want M&Ms in your dressing room?
My manager's
Or do you
name
want
is
a
Andrew.
lubed up vagina?
My manager's name is Jessica Zarian. She will handle all the particulars. She'll work out the dressing room clause and my writer and all that stuff. But yeah, I'd be happy to do it. That's so nice of you to invite me to come on and I could use the extra money. So all right, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
We will be back right after this break. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chaunce Hayden Show. And as promised tonight, we have a special guest, an intimidating guest, but yet a special guest.
Look at that smile. How can I be intimidating?
You're so scary. You're so scary. I don't even know where to begin. But before we get into your life, we have to settle one issue. So here's Bully Ray, right? Bully Ray from TNA Impact getting married tomorrow. I can say that, right?
Yep.
Tomorrow is the big day.
I've never heard the word intimidating before, though. Really? I'm intimidating? I've never heard that word when describing me.
What's funny, because before the show, we were wondering, am I going to say something to you that's going to piss you off to the point where you got to throw me through the wall? And we were actually looking at all the walls and trying to decide what's a fake wall and what's a real wall. And I'd like to tell you, if you're going to throw me through a wall, the left side of the room are walls I will easily fly through. This wall will kill me.
Okay.
If you throw me through this wall, I'll die.
I don't think you're going to say anything that's going to make me want to throw you through a wall, though.
I'm praying to God.
Well,
I'm walking through this interview very
gingerly.
All right.
Every
question. Okay. First question, and this is probably the most important question. We had a big fight before you came on the air because I'm bragging tonight that I have Mongo coming on the air. We got Mongo. Now, Andrew, who's producing the show tonight, is a major fan of yours.
Right.
Major fan. He starts screaming at me saying, who the fuck is Mango?
Mango's a fruit.
Yeah.
You're
what's
off to
a
a
mango?
bad
What's a
start
mango?
already.
What's a... I'm already getting thrown to
Mango's
the
a
wall.
fruit.
I'm already getting thrown. I'm already calling you gay. Already, I'm calling you homosexual.
Exactly.
I'm going to the wall in the next 5 seconds.
I can assure you.
What is your name?
Well, here's the story behind the Mongo name. Mongo is a fraternity name.
Mongo.
And Mongo is like the name that's kind of, followed me around in college and down on the Jersey Shore with all my friends.
Okay.
My professional name is Bully Ray. So, yes. Who said I was Mongo?
He did. No. He did.
Right. And if they said I was Mongo, they were right. If they said I was Bully,
I said
Bully
Mongo.
Ray.
I said Mongo.
No,
You're all right. You're all right. I'm not offended at all.
He sent me a text message like 3 o'clock, and he goes, "Guess who's coming on the show?" I go, "Who?" He goes, "Legendary pro wrestler Mongo." And I go, "Mongo McMichaels?"
Well, that's right.
And he goes, "Yes." I'm like, I
didn't
think
say
Mongo
yes.
is coming on the show.
I did say yes.
My original name when I first started in pro wrestling was Mongo Vile. So technically, yes, world famous Mongo.
And you were Bill Alfonso's bodyguard, right?
Very good. Wow. That's a diehard right there.
Yeah, he's crazy.
That's a diehard.
No, he has posters of you on his wall.
No posters.
You don't
Cool.
understand. And he wears white sneakers. So just so you know what you're dealing with. He has a goatee, very, very tightly shaved goatee and white sneakers. Tread lightly.
Okay.
Be careful.
Okay.
Be careful.
Okay.
All right. So we got that out of the way. So here you are. Tomorrow's the big day for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's huge news. People are all over this. Brooke Hogan. What can you tell me about her? Your relationship with her? Tell us what we need to know.
She's hot. She's hot. And she's hot. Do I need any other? No.
She's smoking hot.
No, yeah. Me and Brooke now, we've probably been talking for only about 3 or 4 months. And it's actually pretty funny that her father, Hulk Hogan, is super pissed at me, super pissed at her about us talking.
That was my next question.
Okay, let me answer the first question first, and then you can get to the next one.
I did it again, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. I one more strike and. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Wow.
It's pretty funny because he's so pissed off that we're talking to one another. Meanwhile, the reason why we actually started talking is because she was apologizing for him because he's been treating me like a real dick lately. And she kind of said, listen, my dad's under a lot of stress. He's got a lot of, outside problems that we, things that we kind of know about, and a lot of business problems. So, don't take it personally. And that's how we started talking. So he was the reason we started talking. And now he's pissed off that we're dating and now we're getting married.
Wow. All right. So I'm assuming he's not going to be there. for the festivities?
He's invited. I invited him, to my bachelor party. I invited him to the wedding, as she wants him there at the wedding. Of course, every girl wants her daddy to give her away. I'm hoping that he can just let, bygones be bygones. This is all water under the bridge. Walk his daughter down the aisle, hand her off to me, and, this can all just go away. That's what I hope.
It's an awkward position for you to be in. As a wrestler, someone, with your name, your stature in this industry, when you look at Hulk Hogan, who's an icon, what do you think of him as a wrestler, and what he's done for the sport?
Nothing but the utmost respect. It's Hulk Hogan. He's the be-all and end-it-all of pro wrestling. If it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, and Hulkamania back in like 1984, wrestling wouldn't be what it was today. Guys like The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and all of the modern day huge names wouldn't have had the opportunities that they did if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan. So he is, he is pretty much God when it comes to pro wrestling.
What an awkward position for you to be in.
It's a rough situation, I like his daughter. His daughter I love his daughter. His daughter loves me, and he doesn't approve of it. But what are you going to do? I'm not marrying him. He's not marrying me. And, he suspended me over this. He let personal get in the way of business. He suspended me. He basically disowned his daughter. Mm-hmm. He told his daughter, get the hell out of here. You've basically taken, bully side. I'm done with you. It's a rough situation. And since our whole relationship is basically played out on television, as has their personal lives, what better place to get married?
Good segue. All this is public. Everything, as you say, is being played out on TV. How do you process that, where your personal life, relationships, everything is broadcast to everyone?
This is actually the first time my personal life has ever come into the pro wrestling business. I've always had a very, very definitive, draw the line in the middle. Brooke actually slipped up one night and on live television called me by my legitimate God-given name, which is Mark. And like everybody was totally shocked. Nobody had ever heard my, quote unquote, real name before. So to have my personal life play out on TV, it's a little weird for me. I guess for Brooke and Hulk, it's a little easier because, Hulk had his show Hogan Knows Best, and Brooke had Brooke Knows Best. So they're kind of used to having their personal lives in the public eye. I'm not, but you know what? I really don't care.
Here she is. She's marrying a guy who's like her dad, a wrestler. Same industry, all the complications go into it. You saw what happened. Everyone saw what happened to Hulk and his wife, how that fell apart. You got to wonder how she feels about getting back into the spotlight in this way within the wrestling community. Is it going to be reliving what her dad and mom went through? Does that ever come up in the conversation? You guys talk about that, being in the wrestling world, if it can affect your relationship, the way it affected her dad's relationship with her mom.
I already told Brooke, I said, listen, the wedding on TV is one thing. Anything more than this is going to be a hard sell for me. It was my decision to propose to her on live television, no doubt. But, if they were to come up with an idea like, Brooke and Bully Knows Best and our whole personal life was to play out on TV, might be an interesting show, but it's going to be a little bit difficult. I separate my private life from my business pretty well.
Kind of makes you guys a power couple. Brooke has her music career, which I'm assuming she's still at it, still looking to make it as a pop star.
Yep.
You're a wrestler. How are you going to combine those two careers?
She has her business. I have my business. Brooke is I have a lot of respect for her because she keeps plugging away at her music career. She's young. She's 25 years old. She wants to be a star in the music business, and I got nothing but respect for that. I kind of envy her in a way because I always wanted to be a rock star. I wanted to be three things in life. I wanted to be a pro wrestler, a rock star, and a porn star. So far, I've done 2 out of 3. And since Meatloaf had the market cornered on the 300-pound rock star, I couldn't get into that. So I envy her for pursuing her musical dreams.
It's not going to get in the way of your career. It's not. You see a possibility of a conflict. Say she takes off, has a hit song. How does that affect a guy like you? Masculine. You're the villain on wrestling. Everything about you is tough, hard as nails. Now you have a wife who everyone is talking about as a pop star. Is that going to affect your ego, your masculinity in any way?
No.
No problem. You can deal with it.
What? No. If she has a hit pop single, how does that affect me? Maybe I can retire. Live off her money.
But that's not what you want. You
No.
wouldn't be you if that was. You're not that guy.
No, I wish her all the success in the world. Right. I hope she, becomes as big as Lady Gaga and Madonna. No problem with that.
All right. So let's talk about you for a second. You've made such a big name for yourself in wrestling. You went up the hard way. Started off in Queens, worked your way up to where you are now. You were also with the WWE with Vince McMahon. Mm-hmm. What can you tell me about working with Vince and because we hear so many things about Vince, what he's done for wrestling and what he's also done for wrestling in the negative. People have spoken out about him. What do you say about Vince?
I have absolutely nothing but good things to say about the man. Gave me and my partner Devon a tremendous opportunity, allowed us to become the most successful tag team that's ever walked through the doors of the WWE, paid us an ungodly amount of money, gave me the opportunity to make it to the very top of the top wrestling company in the world. No problems, zero, not one bad thing to say about him. He treated us great business in a business sense, and I got along with him on a personal level wonderfully. I have nothing bad to say, and it's not that I have nothing bad to say because I'm worried. I legitimately have nothing bad to say. I enjoyed a great relationship with the man. I could walk into the man's office at any time I wanted and discuss anything I want with him, and he would give me.
He has no problem with you going over to the other network. I mean, he's fine with that.
Business.
Business is business.
Business is business. And in business, you always go where you have the best opportunity to earn the most amount of money.
You know what I feel bad for Vince when I watch those political commercials with his wife, and I think of all the money that she's spending on or was spending on those commercials. You wonder if he was 100% on board with that, or he was looking at it like, oh my God, my bank account's going.
I think Vince definitely wanted to see his wife win. She was up for senator, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think he wanted to see his wife win.
She spent a fortune. I think she spent more than anybody.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
I actually have a question for you. When you broke into...
Yeah, liven this up because he's
I know.
shits.
He's awful.
What did I say wrong?
You're depressing.
Oh my God.
Am I depressing?
I'd rather
I asked one
jerk
question.
off with a handful of broken glass. Oh my God.
Oh my God!
Ask a good
All right,
wrestling
Andrew, all right,
question.
I'm gonna ask a good wrestling.
Otherwise, I'm bringing her over onto the couch.
She'll come over right now.
Andrew, you asked a great question.
So
Go ahead.
I was talking to one of my buddies, and he's a big wrestling fan. And he wanted to know, when you broke into the WWE, what do you think the difference is now and then? I mean, you came from another organization, but now, do you think it affects?
That was my next question. By the
No,
way.
it wasn't. No, it
was
wasn't.
absolutely my next question.
Do you think it's kind of bad for the character of the guy going in that he has to go into like developmental and he has to train for like 2 years and then who knows what they do with him past that?
Well, nowadays WWE is looking to create their own stars from the absolute ground level up. When I got there, they noticed us in ECW and they knew that they wanted us and they signed us to a great deal. And we were able to be who we wanted to be over there. I was a part of the WWE during the greatest time they had there, the Attitude Era. And the Attitude Era was so successful because of the sex, drugs, and rock and roll mentality. Now, WWE is a lot more, it's PG. It's more family oriented. It's because they're a publicly traded company. They have a lot of sponsors and people don't want, to be associated with a company that's, more adult oriented. They want a kid friendly product.
May I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
UFC, how has that affected pro wrestling?
I think that it affected pro wrestling a lot for about a 3 to 5 year clip. I don't think it affects it anymore. When you buy a UFC pay-per-view, you got maybe 1 or 2, marquee matches, and most of the time when I watch it, I'm not really entertained by the whole show. I just don't feel like it's my $45, went a long way. When you order a TNA pay-per-view, a WWE pay-per-view, you're going to be entertained from beginning to end. So, I think it affected it for a little while. And let's look at it this way. When was UFC its most successful as far as pay-per-view buys was concerned? Do you know?
No.
Who was their champion?
Do you know?
Well, it was more. Right now, they're in a little bit of a slump, but you're going back a couple of years ago, and probably Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar. Yeah. Where did Brock Lesnar get his start?
I hate you.
Pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Who was Brock Lesnar's first major opponent?
Andrew?
You should know. You're doing the interview.
In what?
You're horrible. You're horrible. You know nothing.
In the
so
US,
little,
you're being
so
fed
little,
lines
so,
in your fucking notebook.
So little that you'd be frightened by how little I know. Look, Andrew.
A pro wrestler made UFC its most popular.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
I apologize.
You've been so great, and thank you for coming.
No problem.
I just have 2 more questions,
Go ahead.
and then we'll let you go. We'll let you have your bachelor party. Oh God, I forgot my question. No, what I wanted to ask you. So, Lance Armstrong is coming out on Oprah tomorrow, right? He's going to talk about doping and enhancement drugs, and that's such a big thing in all sports. Everything that athletes do today, there's always that steroid question. Guys in your industry that are big as you, that have to take the abuse that you take all the time and the injuries, how much of a factor is that now in wrestling? Is it a problem? Do you look at other wrestlers and see if they're doing it? Tell me what you think about it.
I am in the world of sports entertainment. What I do is no different than what you see in the circus. Why, if somebody wants to stick...
Don't say that. I don't believe it. Don't say it.
What I'm saying is, if somebody wants to do steroids, what's the big deal?
So you're an advocate for not just what you do is entertainment, but for all sports in general.
I didn't say all sports.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm in sports entertainment.
Yes.
Okay? There's a big difference.
Okay.
Guys in my industry, if they want to take steroids, fine, take steroids. If you don't, I don't care. I've never taken them. I've never needed to take them to become successful.
Right.
I have nothing against anybody who wants to take steroids. Is it any different than putting anything else into your body?
Right.
Guys want to look good. They want to look marketable. They want to be big. So what? The worst steroid abuser in the history of our business was superstar Billy Graham. He didn't die from steroids. He's still around. Nobody died from steroid use.
Right.
Guys have died because of the lethal cocktail of alcohol and pills and hard drugs and steroids and things like that. But nobody's ever died from steroids.
You know what they talk about? That violence that you see guys go and they beat up their wives, and they say, well, it comes from the steroids. The steroids.
That's not true. It isn't.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I've never beaten up a woman because of steroids. I beat her up because she asked me nicely.
And on that note, on that happy G-rated note, are you? Last question: are you worried about when you're an older guy, the injuries, the pounding, the all the abuse your body takes? What you're going to be like? How you're going to feel when you're in your 60s, 70s? You look at NFL players. Some of these guys can barely walk. You worry about that?
You should see me get up in the morning now.
Tough.
I have been doing this now for 21 years. My body has taken a significant toll. I'm probably in the top 5 guys in the business, in the wrestling business, who in the past 20 years have destroyed their bodies more than anybody else.
Right.
I've taken some of the most blunt shots to the head. I've put my body through so much.
Right.
Do I feel it? Absolutely. Am I going to feel it more 10 years from now? Absolutely. Would I trade it in? Absolutely not.
It's worth it.
I knew exactly what I was getting myself into before I got into the wrestling business. And I wake up every day with a smile on my face because I'm doing what I love. And not a lot of people get to say that.
You see the movie The Wrestler?
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
I thought it was good. It was
Depressing
entertaining.
as hell.
Huh?
Depressing.
I think The Wrestler kind of takes a little bit of each aspect of a wrestler's life and kind of put it into one character. I can see how I can't relate to it in any way because I haven't been through any of what that guy went through, but I know a lot of stars from the 80s who, went through all that. The most legitimate scene in the movie The Wrestler is when he was doing blow and banging a stripper in the bathroom. That happens all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time.
That's the greatest. You know what? I trade that injuries. I trade it all in too. But one of those experiences.
I just don't do the blow. I just drink a lot of Jack Daniels.
We want to thank Bully Ray coming on the show. It was so nice of you to interrupt your bachelor party to do this.
No problem. My pleasure.
Tomorrow is a big day for you. Please
getting married. We're in love. She loves me. I love her, and we're in love.
Plug the show. Plug the time. The Spike TV. What's it? What's the start?
I'll tell you what. You plug the show since you're going to be watching it tomorrow.
Well, I'm going to be watching it from 8 o'clock on.
8 o'clock to what time?
Oh, about 10.
And on what channel is that on?
Oh, Spike TV.
And what's the name of the show?
Oh, the show everybody knows. It's called TNA Impact. TNA fucking Impact is what it's called. And I watch it every week.
That's right. Tomorrow night, live every Thursday night. Right? Live every Thursday night on Spike TV.
That's right.
From 8 to 10
That's
Eastern
right.
Standard Time.
Hell yeah.
On Spike TV, Impact Wrestling.
Damn right. See you next week.